Media. He's Mr. KC from the 813, and I'm that dude with the beard. And we coming at you live, of course, live. Look like we're on time, according to my watch. Coming at you with NFL Week 10 action. We got some bold predictions for you. You see the ticker down at the bottom. You know what time it is. Mr. KC, what's going on, my man?
How's it going, that dude with a beard? Hanging in here, enjoying this nice Florida weather with this hurricane that's about to come in and whatnot. So it's always exciting times.
Oh, my lantern. Yeah,
Florida weather with
I'm
this.
already knowing. I'm already knowing it's a lot to be going through here. I
Right.
think, yeah. So we got the NFL Week 10 action here coming at you live. Let's see. Let's get on right into it. But matter of fact, here, let's recap for a second. Dude. Last week in the NFL, man, we want to talk about some bold things happening, dude. How about those Jets, ladies and gentlemen? How about those Jets? New York, if you can stand up 4 different times for me, I would appreciate it. I love it. That's all I can say. The AFC East is wide open. I'm so glad. Mr.
Yeah,
KC,
it's a wild AFC East, ain't it?
man, is getting gritty. Your fans aren't looking too bad either, but I'm sure we're gonna cross that bridge here soon.
Oh,
Uh,
absolutely.
absolutely. Okay, let's dive on in. We got NFL action here tomorrow. We got the Amazon Prime Bowl coming up here, and we got the Atlanta Falcons at the Carolina Panthers. Now, early in this season, these are two teams that I was high on, as you well know, as the folks know. And honestly, in this game, I don't know where it's going to go. Atlanta somehow seems to be in control of their destiny because the division is just that bad. And we could almost make that same case for Carolina if they weren't 2 games behind everybody already. So,
Right.
I mean, I've been talking to Atlanta. We've been having a courtship. We've been texting. Like I said, I was outside with the boombox at one time, and this time she ain't let me down. We going out tomorrow night. I'm going with the Falcons here. Um, I think it's going to be a good game, but I think somehow the Falcons pull the 5-5 and really make a stake of trying to make it to the playoffs, man. What do you got going on with this one, Mister KC?
That dude with a beard. This prime time Amazon Bowl game is uh is really a questionable one in the whole series of these prime time bowls, right? They tend to they paid a lot of money for these games, and these are the games they're getting.
Yeah,
It's not a surprise to anyone. I'm going to go with the Falcons. Look, this is a better team. The Panthers have given up on the season, but still play tough. And for whatever reason, even though they're playing tough, I don't think they have the complete squad that the Falcons do. Now, the Falcons are not a complete team by any stretch of the imagination, but when you compare their two teams, that's when it looks a little easier to pick the Falcons. I usually like the home team for these Thursday night games, but that's a short travel on a pretty weak, easy opponent with not much at quarterback. You're the really bottom barrel of the NFL. You're looking at top 36 quarterback play here. And
yeah,
that might be generous.
right.
And anytime you're in that kind of situation, give me the Falcons.
No, I'm right there with you. 'Cause like you said, I mean, I was a second away from calling it the Amazon Bum Bowl or the Bezos Bum Bowl, however you want to put it. Either way, but at least these bums with the wings will get it done. We'll go with the Falcons. Yeah. Sorry for calling out bums, but I mean, y'all see how the season is shaking. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Yeah, I don't
Mm.
think they'd argue with us on that one.
Yeah, prove me wrong. Next game we got here, we got early NFL action, the overseas action, 8:30. We got the Seahawks at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Mr. KC, I'll go ahead and defer to you for this one because this one might actually be a burner. What do you think?
Well, folks, I am Mr. KC from the 813, and if you don't know what that means you can find me down here in the Tampa Bay area. With that being said, I'm going to go with the Seahawks, and I dislike the Seahawks for it's actually the first team I ever hated in the NFL.
Mm,
So I've got a long history of hating the Seahawks, and it pains me to take them. But man, that boy Geno Smith is a straight baller, is he not? Come on now, give me. Tampa Bay's got a defense, and you always worry about that and whatnot. But the Seahawks are the surprise of the NFL this year, and for that reason, I'm going to go with the Hawks. That dude with the beard. Which way are you looking?
man, I was right there with you. I wanted to go with Geno and these Seahawks, but I got to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Like I said, this is the stretch that'll get him going. Tom has one job left. He's got to get to these off and get to this bowl so he can pass the torch to Pat. I think the buck stops. Not the buck stops here for the Seahawks. They'll win more games, but you're definitely dropping this one in Tampa Bay. Tom is getting his team rallied. Like I said, divorce final. He's focused back on football. I think this thing will slowly get churning, and this should have been a tune-up game for them anyway. Had things been shaken right for the Buccaneers, so I really believe they'll just come out and win this game. They've got to. Um, yeah, I'm going Tampa Bay, man. And notice I am saying TOM, Tampa Bay. So yeah, I'm going with Tampa Bay on that.
Yeah, I was
Next
kind of
game we
surprised
got.
by that.
I know. I knew you would be. I'm just, I'm there with Gino. I'm a fan. I believe in these Seahawks. Pete Carroll, like I said, he can get anybody back there and get it done, but Tampa Bay needs to win more. Like I said, this the time for them to turn it around. Because if they don't, then they won't get to that coveted wild card spot that's waiting for them, and they won't be able to get to see Pat and pass the torch. So
Yeah,
that's
because
what
we really are starting to see the playoff picture here. So
it's
I
starting
think
to
if
shake.
yeah, I think if we're going to see them make that move, and luckily for them, that division allows it that they can have some bad games and still turn it around. So
Hmm.
if they're going to do it, they definitely need to start doing it.
Yeah, no, I'm there with you, and hopefully it starts here. The next game, which is a game I'm excited to see, we got the Kings of the North, y'all, the Minnesota Vikings versus the Buffalo Bills, the best team in the NFL, ranked by many. I don't see it, but hey, who am I? Just a bold prediction sports guy. That's just me. Mr. KC, I'm gonna defer to you. Who do you have winning this game here?
Well, folks, as you guys might know from watching us, we've both been super high on the Vikings this season, and I think this is a very winnable game for the Vikings. Listen here, the Josh Allen's a little banged up, unfortunately. You never want to see anybody injured. I'd rather see a prime time Josh Allen in football. It makes football better. But with injury concerns, and you don't even know if he's actually going to play this game or not,
Right.
give me the Vikings, who have been steamrolling all season. They've been real feisty, looking like a great team. I'm riding with the Vikings on this one. That dude with the beard. What are you looking at?
You know where I'm going with this, man. I'm going with the Kings in the North. Like this is the game that's going to really continue to solidify them, and I think this is the game that put Kirk Cousins in the MVP conversation, or at least start floating his name around there. He's not going to get it, but he deserves to have it floated. He has his team sitting in prime position to win the NFC, almost. Like I said, um, I'm not a Bill believer, so like I told you last week, the Jets took care of them this week. This is going to be a tough stretch for Buffalo, and the Vikings isn't going to make it any easier because they're going to pull this dub out. Vikings all the way for this one. I can't see you shaking any other way.
Yeah, yeah. I feel you there, and I feel like Kirk Cousins probably does deserve honorable mention number 17 on the
Yeah,
MVP.
just float. Yeah, just float
Yeah,
it. That's all. No,
right.
I'm not saying consider the man. Not thoroughly.
Good.
Now,
Just put
now
him
if
on the
he
list.
if he gets to the championship game, we might have to converse about a few things.
Yeah, there'd have to
But
be some conversations.
But he deserved to have it floated right now. He deserves a float. Uh, Next game we got here. Ooh, you want to talk about a rough one here? We got the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. I'm trying to tell you, a rough one. I'm going with the Bears on this one though. Justin Fields, he's starting to play with that same potential that I was thinking he had at the beginning of the season. Granted, they took an L last week. I think they bounced back against these Lions, and he continues to show the league that he's going to be a feasible quarterback going forward. Still a little rough now, but continually getting better. And I think he's going to be able to spread the ball out more as far as passing in this, and then he won't have to run as much. I mean, he'll definitely get his on the ground. That's just what he does. But I think we'll see more of a passing attack. Who do you got going in this one, Mr. KC?
Well, if you look at this matchup, Justin Fields did 178 yards last week. 178 yards rushing, which is an all-time NFL record, which you got to tip your hat to.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of positive things you can say about these Bears, but what I can positively say is the Lions are going to win this game. Look here, the Bears have given up on this season. It's not fair to Justin Fields, and I really kind of try to stay away from picking the Lions anymore when I can.
I'm
But in
trying to tell
this
you,
situation,
thought the fans would put you off. Did you say they
yeah,
put them to bed for you?
it did, it did.
Oh man.
But I'm still going to slip them a little love note and whatnot, and see if there's a little twinkle in the stars or whatnot.
Right.
The Lions are a feisty team, and
Mm.
I just I like the Lions in this game.
Okay, I don't blame you. Like I said, it could go either way, but I think Fields does enough to
Yeah,
win this game.
it's an ugly game.
I'm surprised you picked the line. You talk about you surprised about my last pick. I'm really surprised you went there. I was like, he's done with them. I know where he's going.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
and I really
Okay.
should be. I just that's just how little confidence I have in the Bears, even though they did great against the Dolphins.
Right.
That was a better game than it should have been.
No, I got you. For real, it shouldn't have been as close as it would. Thinking that, especially looking at it on paper. Um, Next game we got here, which is I don't even at this point it shouldn't even be a game. They might as well just give us the dub. It's Jacksonville. I'm sorry, I makes it's Jacksonville against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I almost just skipped right past the game. Like everybody knows where we're going with this thing. We see how this Chiefs train is rolling. Um, Chiefs by 30. Like that's what they're saying with the meme. Chiefs by 30. Like just throw out a
Yeah.
number. Chiefs by 30. Mr. KC, what about you, man?
Yes, I'm just going to take this moment to say, speaking of MVP considerations, I believe it's a strong candidate for Pat Mahomes. Look what this man's doing with very low ranked defense and no Tyreek Hill. Everything that was supposed to go wrong uh,
Mhm.
didn't actually go wrong and whatnot. So give me the Chiefs. I'm actually thinking I'm going to be a little conservative here and do 42-17. I know it could get a little more than that, but for the fans, I'm going to keep it it's
Keep it
going to be a
cordial.
closer match.
Got you. Keep it a kosher. I got you.
Yeah,
Got you. Yeah, because I'm. They're probably gonna blow the doors off these Jaguars. And watch it be a great game. Just
right.
because, yeah, you know how they do. Next game we got coming up on the slab, which should be a good game. It always usually is. We got the Cleveland Browns versus the Miami Dolphins. And Mr. KC, out. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Well, folks, if you've paid attention to this podcast, I have predicted every Miami Dolphins game correctly. There's nobody that's riding this bandwagon better than I am. I know when they're going to win, and I know when they're going to lose. Look here, this Browns team is better than expected for myself. Their fans should be excited what happens when they get a very competent quarterback back. Um, but that being said, give me the fence for the win. If until this tree gets broken and I pick them incorrectly, you should pay very attention. I'm trying to get the bandwagon loaded up. I save seats for everyone, buy them tickets for this show, and nobody hops on. So that do with the beard. Are we going with the fence for the win? Or are you sticking with Chubb in the run game?
You know what? I am actually going to go with the Fins for the win this time. Um, the run game is feasible. It could happen. I mean, but no, it's not going to happen. I think Miami's going to they're going to take this. Might be gritty. Um, Tyreek Hill should be able to get off. Waddle should be able to get off. Granted health and everything. Yeah, Fins for the win. I can't even. It's so lackluster when I picked the Dolphins to win because there's nothing exciting for me to say about them. Hoorah, Dolphins.
I got a quick question for you. I hate to derail the picks. Does
Mhm.
Tyreek Hill deserve MVP considerations?
He most certainly does. I am not a hater to an extreme effect. I only hate on it on stuff when it's the truth. And Tyreek Hill is balling, and there's nothing to hate on with that. He's going crazy. He's on historic pace right now, so he's definitely got to be in the conversation without a
Right.
doubt.
I
Yeah,
think so too.
no, yeah, for sure. And what he's doing, like I said, and who he's doing it with is just makes it a little bit more special, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
uh, Next game we got on the slate here, we got the Houston Texans at the New York Football Giants. And America, everybody, Costa Rica, Thailand, wherever you at, you know where I'm going with this. New York football has been back. The Giants are going to take this game. They're going to run it down the Texans' throat. Um, and good night. That's it. Good night. Mr. KC, who do you have going with this one?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Not only are the Giants coming off a bye week, they get another one with the Texans coming into town. Look, this is how is this fair? Look, this is a tough NFC East, and the Giants are just getting these back to back dubs. Like
That's
it's
what I'm
just what
saying.
they do. I like the Giants for a lot tougher of teams, and you give me an easy pick. This might be a game you put a little money on just because it's free. It's free money. You take the Giants money line. Like
Right.
don't you got to worry about a spread or nothing. But I bet you that it's going to be a decent spread.
Right, for sure. No, it has to be, considering the matchup. Next game we got here on the slab, we got the New Orleans Saints at the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm going to go ahead and divert to you on this one, let you take the floor. Who do you got going in this game?
Oh, this is actually another tough game. Sometimes these ugly teams are the hardest ones to predict because it's who's uglier. Is it the Saints or is it the Steelers? Well, in this matchup, I'm going to go with the Saints. They've shown they can put together a great game plan. They played teams tough, and I'm just not super confident in the Steelers this year. This is going to be Tomlin's first losing season, and it's just one game at a time at this point. And so I'm looking forward to the Saints to win. And I'm interested to hear you, dude, with a beard. What's your pick here?
Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh. I've rode with you for so long, giving you all the benefit of the doubt, giving you all the credit due to Mike Tomlin, but enough is enough. I've come to the light and the realization that the Steelers are not going to win this North. It's just not in the cards this year. I'm going with the Saints in this game for every reason you said. The Steelers don't play anybody hard anymore. Kenny Pickett is tossed into a unfair situation almost, being what's
Mhm.
going on down there, and it's just what it is. I got New Orleans going in this one too.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised by that, just because I know you've been riding with the Steelers pretty hard, but it's nice to see you get off a sinking ship.
Yeah, no, I got to get that life vest. Yeah, it's over for
Yeah, it's a
them.
Titanic situation down there or up there.
Right. Speaking of Titanics, we got the Titans versus the perennial garbage team, the Denver Broncos. Mr. KC, I'm going with the Titans in this game. It's not a doubt in my mind. They're going to run the ball down Denver's throat. Denver's not going to be able to capitalize. I believe this will be the win that the Titans thought they were going to get last week. Who do you got going in this game?
Well, in this situation, you got to really look at the quarterback matchups. You've got on one hand Russell Wilson. On the other hand, you got a rookie that doesn't really pass the ball very much. So in that case, I'm still going to go with Derrick Henry because he's a one man wrecking crew.
Right.
There's no way I'm worried about the Broncos. And you can cook all you want, but you're not a great chef, Russ. Like it's just
Right.
not there for me. I'm not seeing it.
Right.
So,
If he want to
yeah,
give me a ride, it's got to be to go to the restaurant because he ain't cooking nothing up.
but he ain't cooking nothing. You better get a different chef in the kitchen. You
Man.
can't. You're stuck with him.
Right. Where's Brock Osweiler when you need him, huh? Or whatever
Mhm.
other jabroni you guys been trying to get. Uh, yeah, it's over for them. Titans putting them to bed. Next game we got on the slate here is I always say this when I see these guys play because they always could be so good, but end up not being. I got the Indianapolis Colts playing the Las Vegas Raiders, and Mr. KC, please take the floor, please.
Oh, talk about a tough game to predict. There's so much going wrong on both of these teams. The Raiders are a complete dumpster fire. They blame each other for everything. I blame them for everything. Then you have the Colts, who can't put nothing together on a field. You ran out Matt Ryan. I know he's not great, but good lord, you got rid of your coaching staff. They got Jeff Saturday coaching. He's never
Man,
coached a football game
in his life.
in his life. His play caller has never called a game in his life. There's just so much unknown. So I'm just going to go with the Colts here because picking the Raiders has not worked out for me at all this season. And with Jeff Saturday getting a free roll of the dice, he's going to go balls to the wall. If you're going to put a resume together for someone that's not supposed to get the job, why not put in your 8 foot effort?
I'm
You know,
trying to tell you.
you got to
No,
fake it till you make it, and I think he's going to fake it good enough.
no, for sure. I believe he's got the welcome pass this week too as well. I mean, if you gotta just get tossed into I was gonna say a S fire, if you gotta get tossed into a dumpster fire, it might as well be the one in Indianapolis because at least you get to play the Raiders this weekend. So yeah, I'm going with the Colts too. It's probably gonna be a runaway from them, even with Jeff Saturday having no idea what he's doing. He's just gonna look, man. You need to block like this, pass the ball, let's go win. Like, I mean, what else could he say? He's not, I mean, I just think I wonder what's going on with Reggie Wayne. What's going through his mind? A guy who's been on the team for years, who has actual literal experience, Super Bowl champion. I don't get it. I don't get it. So we'll move on from that because it's a dumpster fire game, dumpster fire situation on both ends. Next game we got though, which may not be a dumpster fire game, but it should be a good one. We got the Dallas Cowboys at the Green Bay Packers. And personally, on this game here, I'm going with the boys. Been riding with them a lot lately. Now that I've gone back and really looked through, I'm like, man, these Cowboys, man, they're perennial. This is the first time I can actually say with like full confidence that I believe the Cowboys are contenders. Like when's the last time you could say that? Like wasn't Emmett there? Or maybe like I mean one of the Dez
2012
Bryant
teams.
seen it's yeah, that's right. One of the
Yeah.
Dez Bryant Romo situations. I don't know, but one thing I do know is that the third largest dumpster fire in the NFL is in Green Bay. So this should be a good win for the boys. Who do you got going in this one, Mr. KC?
Well, if we look at the quarterback matchup, we see Aaron Rodgers and Dak Prescott. And in the first time in history, I'm picking Dak Prescott to beat Aaron Rodgers. It
Oh
doesn't even
man,
sound right when you
it
say it out
doesn't.
loud, right?
It doesn't.
Oh,
That's why I said the
Dak.
Cowboys. I couldn't
Dak.
even bring
Look,
this.
we just need to say Parson versus
Hmm.
versus
Right,
Aaron Rodgers, and then we
right,
start having real arguments.
right.
So, yeah, I'm right there with you. The Green Bay Packers are a dumpster fire in organization. Aaron Rodgers should have retired last year. It would have been a sunset
Man,
into the game 3-pointer kind of victory. The only way you're going to be better is if you would have won the Super Bowl or something.
right.
And instead, you got this stain on your record. It's
Dumpster
tough to
fire
see.
season.
Yeah, and it's not Aaron Rodgers. That's what the sad part is. It's
Right.
just the refusal to put anything around him.
That's because I don't see why you pay a guy that you really don't want there. I guess it's just getting a little bit of marketability that they can left out of him because Jordan Love at quarterback isn't going to bring in revenue. So I mean, well, they ain't not giving him a chance to be a star yet either. So I don't know. It's like a whole dumpster fire situation there. Next game we got here on the slate, we got we got your boys, the Arizona Cardinals, against the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah, I'll go ahead and take the lead on this one. I'll go with the Rams. Both these teams to me are just underwhelming. The Rams still got a shot to try to piece something together to get that playoff spot. They're 2 games behind. I guess you could turn the tide with a beat in the Cardinals this weekend, take you to 4-5. I'm not a Kyler Murray believer. I still don't think he's just the guy to get it done. I don't know why. Maybe it's in his attitude. Maybe it's really the coaching. Maybe it's Kingsbury making him look bad. Maybe we got a misperception of the situation. But whatever they got going on, I don't like it enough to pick them to beat the Rams. Mr. KC, what do you got going in this
Well, folks, if you paid attention to this podcast, I've been a big supporter of the Arizona Cardinals. I guess I love places where old people go to retire or something.
one?
I don't know what's gone into my brain. And thankfully, I know when to quit. And I'm going to pick the Rams. I believe they won the last time these two teams matched up. And the Cardinals, even with Hopkins back, haven't even looked extraordinary. So I'm gonna. I hate to do it because I expected more out of the Cardinals this season.
Man,
Give me the Rams on this one. I'm right there with you.
man, going into this season, dude, and like I said, even the last season, bro, you would think that these Cardinals were going to be contenders. Like they, I just another dumpster fire. I don't know what's going on with these certain teams, but these front offices are bleeding the talent dry in their respective organizations, and it's turning into a dumpster tsunami, if you will. So
Absolutely.
we'll see, but yeah, definitely Rams in this one. And the Sunday night game, prime time, we got the Los Angeles Chargers versus the San Francisco 49ers. And Mr. KC, I will give you the floor for this one.
Well, this is an interesting game, really. You've got a couple of teams that are wanting to be in contention, but have kind of underperformed a bit. And really, you can change either name, and the definition applies to both teams. I'm going to go with the 49ers in this situation. I believe they're a better overall team. And I really like the addition of Christian McCaffrey to that team in the Shanahan system. So, with a well rounded balance, give me the 49ers in this game. That dude with the beard, which team are you going with?
I'm there with you. I'm going with the Niners. I just think they're a far better team, and they're kind of trending in the right direction here. Um, I'm not a Herbert believer at all, as you well know. He was one of the guys that they tried to anoint MVP before the season, or what we call him, an August MVP or September
Hmm.
MVP. You know, the Chargers they stink. They're just not going to beat the Niners. I don't see it happening. If they do, it's by the blessing of any given Sunday. But other than that, McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, Jimmy G, I'm pretty sure they get this done.
Yeah.
Let's let's see who we got Monday. Ooh, now this might be a chippy one. Is this the game? Is it finally when it happens? We got the Washington Commanders versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And like I said, this is a tough one to pick because I honestly believe these Commanders can get it done. But I can also see the Eagles beating another bad team to continue bolstering their way down the road. I'm going with the Commanders because you just can't win them all. Philadelphia, you just can't. The Commanders are 4-5. We probably in my mind the best of the sub 500 teams in the NFL. Like they're definitely the most scrappy. They're usually in every game besides when they're blatantly blown out. Um, I'm going with the Commanders. I think this is the upset game of the week. I think they find a way to dethrone Philadelphia from the number one power rankings, so a certain other team may ascend to its proper status. Who do you got going in this one, Mr. KC?
Whoo, 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 whoo. I like your pick there. The Commanders, huh? Talk about a bold prediction there. I like your pick because the Commanders are a tough team. I think it's probably the most underrated team in the NFL right now.
Mm-hmm.
They really probably are just a quarterback away from serious contention.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to ride with Philly on this one. Look here, they've been rolling all year long. I don't think they lose an ugly one. I don't think they lose a game to an ugly team. We've seen teams go undefeated before in the regular season. So it's possible. Look, everyone's got to lose sometime, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's possible they finish the regular season undefeated. They look at their schedule. This is the kind of games they've been playing all year, taking advantage of it. And I think they're going to continue to take advantage of it. I'm riding with Philly and the Hurts trade. He's balling out this year. Another
MVP?
person that we should be talking about for MVP considerations at least.
No, I agree on that end as far as the MVP consideration. Can't be a hater of 8-0, but like I said, I'm a believer in this team because I really think they are a good team. I don't think they're 8-0 good. Like I said, I mean you played a lot of guys who I don't even know if they've beaten anybody with a winning record. I'd have to go back and look and see. I think everybody's that they've beaten so far are like under 500 kind of deal.
Yeah, it's been a
So
pretty easy schedule for him.
yeah, I
But
mean,
but you
but
got
they
to
got
take
the
advantage of
Cowboys
them.
coming up sooner than later too. So I like that matchup. But I'm with the Commanders. My last upset of the week last week rang true with my Jets. I'm going with these Commanders. Something about them. I'm
Yeah,
going with
there's good money on it if you place the bet.
them.
I might take a couple extra points if I'm picking the Commanders. You get a
Hmm.
free 3 points almost. It's
Right.
not going to change your odds drastically, but a money line, that's good money.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, it's better than what you went in with. Let's say that.
Right.
Um, Well, that's all we got there as far as the picks for this week of NFL action. We're gonna see how what they say the cookie crumbles on that end, y'all. Um, let's go ahead and dive on into it, which is the highly touted bold prediction, bold seven, the biggest list in sports. And Mr. KC, I will do you the honors. You may go first, my man. Who is atop of thine bold seven this week, good sir?
Well, I think we're actually starting to get to that point in the season where it's the list isn't going to change up very much. Maybe the back end of it slides around a bit. But right now, we're still looking at number one Philly. Until someone beats them, this is still an undefeated team, and the only undefeated team for weeks and weeks now. So with that, I like them there. And then number two, I'm going to go the Kansas City Chiefs, showing it game and game again. It don't matter if we're behind. It ain't over till the fat lady sings.
That's
Even
right.
even ugly wins are still wins. I'm not going to remember it later in the season.
Right.
Number three, I'm gonna actually go with the Miami Dolphins. Look here, this team is
Mm.
so underrated when they're rolling and healthy. The Miami Dolphins are disgusting right now. Number
Right.
four is the Buffalo Bills. They're sliding back because I'm worried about the Josh
Mm.
Allen injury. They have the easiest ability to fall off this list on any team out there. They're on shaky ground, and it makes me nervous. Uh,
Mm.
I think we're at number five now. And I'm going to go ahead and anoint the New York Giants the fifth best team in football.
Okay.
And I really couldn't believe that going into the season that I would say such a drastic thing. And number 6, I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. That
Ooh.
defense is disgusting. Riding with the boys. And then number 7 for the final 7 bold list. I'm going to put the Baltimore Ravens back on it. The Ravens are making it back.
What?
I don't know how, I don't know why, but something about this Ravens team I love. And I'm rolling with them this year. I've placed them on this list a few times, so they probably shouldn't have. And they're
Like
back.
now? What?
They're back. Yeah.
No, no Kings of the North. I can't believe it. Okay, that's bold. That's bold. I'm gonna dive right on in. Number one team in football, Kansas City Chiefs. I don't care if Philadelphia's 8-0. If Philadelphia played Kansas City right now, they would lose. I thoroughly believe it. I believe everybody on the planet even knows it. Number two is the Philadelphia Eagles just because you're 8-0. Like, I give you the respect you deserve. You'll never fall under three. But like I said, I mean, until you beat somebody who's of quality stature, I can't just be comfortable leaving you at number one. It's like college sports. I mean, you got to play somebody. You can't just keep leaving you there just because you're Alabama. Like, you know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah. At number three, I have the Kings of the North, the Vikings, as the third best team in the NFL. The one loss shows it. They don't get enough respect. Uh, Miami, please. Um, anyway, number
Hey,
four, though.
let them
Number
play each
four.
other, and we'll see.
We'll see Kirk Cousins get off. But number four, I do have the Miami Dolphins. I gave them a bump. I gave them some respect. There you go. I'm not a complete hater. Um, I just, I don't think they're a top tier yet, but they're definitely on their way. The fifth best team in football I have are the New York Jets. They've done everything that I needed them to do by taking Buffalo down to the river, and they're just making their way to top contention. What are they now in their division? Are they one? Did they lose? No, they're 1-0 too. Yeah, in their division. I don't think they played another rival yet. I have to check it out thoroughly. Um, my 16 here is the Dallas Cowboys. The defense is serious. I will never not have them in the top seven unless they fall all the way off. That is, I mean, that's just what it is about that. And the seventh best team in the NFL are the New York Football Giants. Coming off a bye week, like you said, they got another bye week coming up. Got to do nothing but pad their stats more, get another dub, and keep moving forward. Buffalo does not make the top seven because they're not a top 17. I believe they're going to lose again this weekend and continue to slide down.
Ooh.
Remember at the beginning of the year, I picked them not even to make the playoffs. You shouldn't be shocked. Remember that.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'm going to
True.
say I don't have them even making the playoffs, and things are starting to trickle in the way I thought. Josh Allen, he's Josh Allen, or whatever how they want to say it. You know, hurting himself, getting things done, taking hits he probably shouldn't. Now we're at the crossroad. They got a tough matchup this weekend. We'll see what happens from there. If they lose this weekend, they've already lost the number one spot in the AFC. So we'll
Yep.
see. We shall see. But that rounds out my bold seven, man. I think it's a hell of a bold seven. I don't see no flaws in that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I like your 7 there. It's a pretty strong list. And really, I know you're going to catch a little slack for that Bills take, but I personally think it's pretty spot on. Especially with the questions with Josh Allen's elbow. I'd like to see him be healthy and rematch with the Chiefs in the or something. But with concern, it's if you don't have Josh Allen, the Bills are not winning. It's
Right.
just that simple.
Right. Exactly. And this is the threshold we're crossing. Like I said, I don't wish injury on no man or anything like that, but injury or not, I believe the fall off was coming. Because like I said, Josh Allen, he's a roller coaster ride. Like my boy Nick Rice says, it seems like he's the only guy on the planet who agrees with me. His highs are high and his lows are lows. Because when Josh Allen is off, he's off. And he can be
Yeah.
off for stretches. We've seen it. Like people get so blurred by what he did in the playoffs last year, they forget who he's always been. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's Mr. Pick Six almost. Like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm not worried about him. I believe the trickle effect is going to keep happening. Like I said, because if you're in contention with the Jets and the Dolphins for the AFC East, that means you just don't own it.
Yeah, and one of the favorite arguments I hear is that with Pat Mahomes went into a playoff ready team and Allen didn't, but people forget that Tyrod Taylor was taking the Bills to the playoffs before he got there, so he
Exactly.
had just as good of a team. It just took him longer to develop, or whatever
Exactly.
their excuse is going to be. But really, what it is you give someone a top five defense and some playmakers around you, and all of a sudden you look good. Look at my Fins, for example. Tough defense,
Mm-hmm.
great playmakers. You got
Mm-hmm.
Waddle and Hill on your team, balling.
Mm-hmm.
Takes an average quarterback, makes them look elite.
Makes him look
And,
elite.
and the difference is when you have an elite quarterback, you lose Tyreek Hill and still have the MVP conversation.
Exactly. And the ball
Or
just
Aaron
keeps rolling.
Rodgers, nothing around him, still winning,
Man.
still getting MVPs, except for this
Man.
season.
Right.
So
Exactly.
that shows you the elite quarterbacks first. Actually building a team around an okay quarterback.
Exactly. Like I said, you know what I call it, the Trent Dilfer experiment. That's all
Yeah,
I see. It's like, dude, yeah, you're good enough to get it done in between the marks, blah blah blah. But don't get it twisted. Like, you're not elite. And I'm sorry it sounds that way, but things just are the way they are. Like I said, I'm not one of the guys that anoint these guys, these young players, just because they look good certain games. Joe Burrow, Joe Herbert, Joe Smirk, Josh Allen, Bo Allen, whoever it's got to be. Like, I mean, until you
right.
win something, until you do something, in my opinion, you're chasing Lamar. He's the only guy I put in Mahomes' league. As far as like being these young guys, he's the only one who's done anything.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, anyway,
and
they
even
can
his
take
resume is kind of limited.
right. They can talk about, oh, Joe Burrow won the Super Bowl. Okay, hold that L. What did he win the MVP or something? Did he get like am I missing something? Did he get some kind of
Right.
award that I'm missing? Like, man, get him out of here.
Yeah, and
No,
it's surprisingly how bad they've fallen off. The Bengals are going to bingle, I guess.
got to get it on a T-shirt soon. The Bengals are gonna bangle. I'm just saying it's ass tradition. That's what it
Right.
is. There's just certain things you can't shake, folks, and that's one of them. The Bengals are gonna bingle. Sorry.
Exactly. So I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting here. This is we're starting to get into a little bit past the halfway point. Should we start talking about the playoff picture?
Mm.
Which of these teams are making the playoffs? Because we give our bold seven, that doesn't cover all the playoff teams.
It does not. It does not. It's almost time to start this playoff conversation. I mean, we're at week 10. There's 8 more weeks left in football
Right.
before the playoffs. So I mean, it's kind of start talking about it. I mean, because we kind of see who are the clear playoff favorites right now. And I would say on kind of both sides, it's just really limited to a few teams who we know that are going to the playoffs. Like, we know Kansas City's going to go to the playoffs. We know more than likely Tennessee is going to go to the playoffs out of their division. Um, like I said, looking at the North right now, that's kind of a shakeup, but it seems like it's going to edge toward Baltimore.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
in the East is a total toss up right now. So I can't even put my finger on that. You might like say you might have two playoff teams in that division alone, or maybe even third. Maybe Buffalo do squeak in as the other wild card. Who knows? But I
Yeah,
mean,
I think a lot of that depends on Josh Allen's elbow.
yeah.
Hate to keep bringing that up, but if Josh Allen's playing, I think they make the playoffs.
And then which Josh Allen you getting though? Like I said,
True.
I'm roller coaster Allen. If you come back low man Allen, he's just gonna keep balling you down the depths. But we'll see. Like I said, we saw low Allen the other day. He like said on the podium, "Oh, when your quarterback plays like shit, you lose. I'm like, well, Josh, that looked like a standard game for you to me. It just looked like certain things didn't shake the way that it shouldn't shake. The refs didn't give you the calls that you used to getting. I mean, it's just what it is, man. Welcome to the NFL when you're
Yeah,
not the
because
boy.
he looked very pre Stephon Diggs out there.
Yeah.
Is how I kind of look at it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Out there flailing. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it's almost time to start talking about these playoffs. I
yeah, and I
wouldn't
think
mind.
if we look at the NFC, the South is still open. It's a wide
Wide
open
open.
division. But
Yeah, the
think the
Falcons
East,
might mess around and win. So
I think the NFC East might produce three playoff teams. I
that
think,
would be the one.
yeah, I think I could easily see Philadelphia making it. Obviously, then
Obviously,
them boys are probably making the playoffs as at
for
least a
sure,
wild card.
for sure. I would
You
have
know,
them locked into a playoff spot right now. Honestly, the
and
way
same with the
that's shaking,
Giants.
right?
Yeah,
I would say, and the Giants, yeah,
yeah,
that
and I
could
think
be
that,
it.
and really, if Philly loses a couple games, they could not even win the division. Even and it's
Right.
pretty wild.
Mm-hmm. Because nobody's too far behind. I mean, granted, there ain't no. They're a little bit behind, but not too far. Yeah. Once
Yeah,
the Commanders take them out,
and then in the North, we know we have the Vikings, and I think that's
Kings of the
pretty
North.
clear cut.
Yeah, that.
That's the playoffs right there.
Yeah, I think that's done. You're 7-1 in that division. I'm pretty sure it's over. They got
Yeah,
that
and then
done.
there's a couple questions out west. Is it going to be the Seahawks? Is it going to be the Rams? Could
Man,
it be the Niners? The
could it
only team
be?
we know it's not is the Cardinals.
Right.
Like hurts me to say it, but it's the only way we're not going.
Man, no, for sure. Um, and you're right, because two of those teams could be playoff teams. I can see San Fran honestly getting one of those wild cards. I still think the Rams can win the division. Um, but you can flip flop either one of them. Like I said, the NFC has so many. I would say they have. It seems more obvious contenders for spots than the AFC does right now, in my opinion. Because, like I said, we got three arguably in almost two divisions that could arguably make it.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it'll be hard pressed to see which teams finally make it because if it shakes down to it, like I said, the Giants, and then you got the Cowboys, like I said, and then you like I said, you look over at the other side. If the 49ers didn't make it, what's their record? Or if the Rams didn't make it, what's their record? Like I said, it's gonna be tough. We gotta see, but dude, that's
and I
gonna be
actually think it's
tight.
probably the Seahawks that win the West out there.
Probably,
It
dude.
would not surprise me one bit. And that
Hmm.
has to give Pete Carroll the coach of the year, if you ask. If he makes
Oh
the
yeah.
playoffs, if he
Oh
wins that
yeah.
division, coach of the year,
Oh
coach of the
yeah.
year. Throw it
Oh
out.
yeah. Oh yeah. For sure. Give Gino comeback player of the year.
Yeah,
He's probably a shoe in for it already, dude. Yeah, coach of the year, Pete Carroll, dude. Yeah, because the way they're playing, dude. Like I said, Pete Carroll, the way he can put a game plan together, like we talked about earlier when he was touching on what team? The Saints. We said how they can put a game plan together. Dude, Pete Carroll is okay. We gonna really exploit what we know you can't do, while we try to bolster our strength. He's really that kind of guy, and he can get it done. And he's showing us that he can. And Gino showing us that he's a good quarterback.
yeah.
Dare we
Maybe the
say?
Chiefs should have drafted him.
Yeah, man. I'm saying Derek man.
Yeah, where was this at? It was nowhere to
Man,
be found, though. I'm not
right.
regretting that decision one bit. But
No, 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 no,
Jeff
no.
Fisher he has a ring, and I'm not sure if Gino does or not, but I don't imagine he does.
No, no. But we'll see, man. Like I said, that thing is going to be tight. It's going to be a tight race out there. But we'll have to dive into it more. We'll have to really dissect that. We have to see, just kind of see how it shakes out. Because, dude, it's so toss up. It's so toss up. Like I said, just
Yeah,
thinking about it, just
yeah,
because
but
that East is so good.
I feel like this far into the season, we've got at least half the picture painted for us. You know,
Oh
you
yeah,
you you probably out of the eight divisions, you probably know five of them pretty easily.
Hmm.
And then, the wild card spots are, they're not locked up and there's a lot of football left, but you kind of see who the good teams are. You
Right.
kind of see it out there. Now, that doesn't mean all these playoff teams are going to have Super Bowl chances. You
Right.
know, obviously, you got to get into the dance to start dancing, but it's definitely not all of them. It'll be interesting to see where it final shakes out, especially with 8 games left to go. But I'm excited. I'm excited to kind of see how this shakes out. I can almost see it. It's. I can almost see um, the Chiefs versus Philly kind of Super Bowl.
I can see that. I remember we thought we were going to get that a few years ago. Um, there's a lot of Chiefs Super Bowl matchups I want to see. We got to have the Brady Bowl again because
I'd
Pat's
like
has
it.
got he has to take him out, and then we need. I would take a we need an Aaron Rodgers send off, send him off to the by and by. Pat win too. Pat should be like how Randy Orton was in wrestling, the legend killer. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah,
how he needs to be. They need to have legend killer Pat Mahomes out here slaughter everybody and everyone who was everyone on the way to assert himself as the new, what did I say, Cinnamon Strong as the new Prince of Bel Air. You know what I'm
right.
saying? Goodness gracious. We're in for a treat, though. It should be a spectacular run. I think it's going to be a good run.
Yeah, I think this is what makes football exciting, right? Getting towards that finish line. Early in
Mhm.
the season, you got a little slacker room. You got plenty of time to get your homework done and whatnot. And
Man,
this time of the year, if you're not on the right track, you're running out of time real quickly.
bound to drizzle
Yeah,
with no life jacket. I'm trying to tell you. Well, no. One more question I have here. Why have we not signed Ndamukong Suh yet? I keep looking at my phone daily. I just like, today's gonna be the day. Can I just look or something like what is going on, man? What do we clear all that money up for if we're not gonna go get sued?
yeah, and I haven't researched this, but I plan on it, and I've got to find out an answer because even if it's not for the Kansas City Chiefs, why is this man not signed somewhere? And
Right.
how great would he be with Chris Jones? Speaking of Sue, another name that keeps floating around is Mr. OBJ. Ooh.
Yeah.
And especially with Josh Allen's elbow questions, you start looking around the
Mm,
league for one of those guaranteed Super Bowl type trips, or at
mm,
least the potential for it. Kansas
mm.
City has to be a very appealing destination.
It has to be because you know that's a place where you can go in and you can be the guy in the room. Because I mean, who else is there to really take the spot from you? Juju's been balling recently, but I mean, unless Kadarius Tony comes on, like how he was looking like he's trying to come on, he looked, he played like you could tell he was playing with aggression but with professionalism. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the blocks he laid out was nasty. The route that he laid down on old boy was the nastiest that I've seen all year from somebody. Had him woo wopped, was still able to turn his head, catch the ball, and make a good game. And I'm saying this is your first time touching offense. I think with you got a guy like him, add an OBJ who can finally give you that vertical threat that we thought Sky Moore was going to be able to give you and that we thought McCole was going to be able to give you consistently in MVS. You get that kind of guy, and then, dude, that offense would be too explosive. It'd
But
be
how
unfair.
crowded is this wide receiver room starting to really look? I think the Chiefs had 7 wide receivers active
Sounds
for the
about right.
game last week. Like there's just so many, and it's kind of weird that they're trying to still kind of figure out the formula. I think they want to see what mixes. And I know you start seeing a lot more of that Andy Reid. I just want to pass the ball football. It's kind of
Right.
situation with that kind of
Well,
depth at least.
yeah, he will abandon that run. Ain't no doubt about it. Especially given that he got all that talent on receiver. I said on receiver, at receiver. Yeah.
Right.
We'll just do a jet sweep. We'll get some rushes in there. Oh man, no, that's amazing though, dude. I think it's gonna be okay. As far as when we do get sued, I'm just speaking positively, speaking it into an existence because we got to get somebody. We need it like how we got my boy T Sizzle. We need that playoff splash. We got to get the guy that'll help bolster this defense and take us to the bowl and beyond.
Yeah, absolutely. And they freed up a bunch of cap space, so you would think they would have to be doing something. They have to have
Right,
something up their sleeve. And while they did trade for Tony, um, that doesn't really affect their cap space
right.
very
He's on a
much.
rookie deal.
Yeah, he's on a
Yeah,
rookie deal. It wasn't freeing up money. And I don't think they were freeing up money for that. So it'll be
right.
interesting to see what they're trying to do with that. But yeah, I'm right there with you. Ndamukong Suh would be my favorite addition if he's even somewhat good.
I'm trying to tell you, you pay them both $3.5 million just for the rest of the year. To me, man, you can make $3.5 million plus whatever Super Bowl bonuses, boo boo bam bonuses, and get you a ring, man. Get you another chip. Both y'all laugh, and then y'all can both go back to LA and laugh at them dudes out there. Like, what do
Right.
you mean? That would be lovely, dude. I would welcome it. Open arms. Come on home, Sue. If somehow you see this, come on home, man. I've been waiting on you. I think that's all we got today, folks. We covered just about everything here. Um, we got the boldest picks. We got the top seven. We got everything hammered out here. I'm just ready to see this weekend transpire, man. I'm ready for some football already. I'm ready. Like I said, we'll start with the Bezos Bumbo tomorrow. And, and hopefully that'll satiate us enough until the weekend, and then we can get this thing really going. Mr. KC, is there anything you want to say to the folks? I'll give you the floor here.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone that's tuned in live. If you didn't catch us live, we are live every Wednesday and Saturday. Wednesday, we cover football, NFL action. And on Saturday, we cover the NBA and other sports leagues. It's a little bit shorter of a show with some
Mhm.
fun other segments mixed up. It's a slightly different show than this. And we're just excited to see all the guests pop in. And we're excited to do this.
Yes, sir, without a shadow of a doubt. And we love and appreciate everybody who's stopping in and who's tuning in with us, man. It takes y'all to do what we doing here because if y'all wasn't watching, there'd be no point in us doing it. We could just be having these conversations over the phone. But we get to share it with you guys
Right.
here, and we get to get your input and everything. So we're most gracious, and we're just so humble, and we're just like I said, filled with gratitude that you guys even consider watching us and you tuning in with us. Such a blessing. Um, can't wait for this Saturday to see you guys live again here. Other than that, I'm that dude with the beard. He's Mr. KC from the 813. Thank y'all for tuning in.